is in the eye of the beholder. We've heard that saying many times. But as I was doing some reading, I found a quote about Eye of the Beholder by Chuck Palahniuk, an American novelist and journalist. He said that any behavior that is not status quo is interpreted as insanity. And insanity is in the eye of the beholder. Not part of the status quo. Well, standing here, competing in a topic, in a humorous speech contest at Toastmasters, is considered by some people to be a little crazy. Public speaking is considered to be crazy. So, given this definition, I'm a little crazy. But I'm not going to talk about contests today. I'm going to take you back to another time where I chose not to follow the status quo. I'm going to take you back to when I was young and single and looking for someone. Yes, I was a city girl, born and bred. I visited the farm once in a while, but briefly. Then I met a country boy. And he introduced me to things I'd never tried before. Definitely not status quo with any of my city girlfriends. Things like going out and feeding the animals, right in the pens with them. Or, come on, why don't you come with me while we summer follow Dad's field? I want to spend time with him. So I hopped on a tractor with no cab. And we went out to the dirt field. You can imagine what I looked like when we came back. The whites of my eyes, or the white of my teeth, sort of, kind of. There were things like shooting gophers with a .22. I'd never held a gun before. And learning to enjoy the taste of wild meat. Well, this city girl married this country boy, and after we'd been married a few years, I realized I had a choice to make. Now, the status quo was that every fall he was going hunting. We liked wild meat. The deep freeze was empty. I could stay home like a lot of the other wives and moms, or I could go hunting. Okay, I chose to go hunting, but not to shoot. I was going to go with him, and we were going to push the bush, which means, shooting the deer out so he could shoot them. And that's what we did all day long. We'd walk, and we'd walk, and we'd walk, and we'd get some deer. And then he said, well, if you're going to come anyway, you might as well shoot. And thus began my very non-status quo hunting experience. Fast forward a few years, and you see the rifle he had was old. It had a very long barrel, and I have very short arms. So we borrowed a gun so we could go hunting. Now, back then you could do that. You could borrow a gun. There was one little problem. It didn't have open sights. It had a scope on it. And I didn't know how to use a scope. Target practice. Go and we set up a target in the gravel pit. We walked back so I could get the gun. There's a vehicle here. I was a little shaky, so I'm going to rest on the vehicle. Aimed at that target. Pulled the trigger. And my head went down onto the car. I was scope bit.
Oh.
Never knew what scope bit was until then. You know those cartoons with the birdies going around your head? Yeah, that was me. I didn't wear glasses at the time. I grabbed it, put pressure on it, because head wounds bleed easily. And Brian says to me, can I look at it? I go, oh, put it back. We're going to the emergency. I think you need stitches. All right. We go to emergency, and you see, this really taught me that perceptions of people can differ with the same incident. The nurse agreed with Brian, keep pressure on it. The doctor comes in, he says, I think we better check, you may have fractured your skull. And I'll go, whoa, fractured my skull? It wasn't. And he says, now I have to stitch this up, and so I'll give you some freezing, it might hurt. And I go, I just got hit with a high-power rifle scope. I don't think I'm going to feel a little needle. I didn't. Then, after he got it all fixed up, I said to him, can I still go hunting today? About that time, he thought he should call for a psych consult, written on his face. We went hunting. I had it covered for the first couple of days of hunting, and then we're on our way home. We had gone with another couple. She also didn't follow the status quo and went hunting. On the way home, we stopped at a restaurant. We walk in. The waitress looks at me with pity in her eyes. And then she looks at my husband. Now, I'm looking at myself and I'm going, well, yeah, I have a ratty old jacket. I have big, clumpy, skidoo boots, but I see others dressed like that. By the time we got to the table, I realized what she was thinking. And we wondered if our food or the RCMP would show up. It was our food. Arriving home, we had not told my family what happened before we left. We walk into the house. My mother is sitting there. She looks at me with this horrified look on her face. While my 4-year-old over here, he looks up at me and goes, cool, Mom, you got 2 black eyes. Perception. It is in the eye of the beholder. Maybe insanity is too, Madam Toastmaster.